Getting back from a week in California. It was 95 degrees yesterday at my daughter's house in Oroville. And, oh, as my phone falls over. It was 95 degrees at my daughter's house in Oroville. And today we got all kinds of fun weather happening here in Alaska. Landed in Anchorage about a half an hour ago. Just getting up to Girdwood now. And I'm looking forward to the cool. I'll tell you what, I am looking forward to being able to sleep with my window open and not have to rely on an air conditioner. I also have some projects to get done this week. It's Tuesday right now, so I've got Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday to get them done, and then I got to be back to work on Sunday because we got a big corporate visit coming up. So that's what we're doing this week. I'm Sean in Alaska. Get used to wearing these down in California. Got to put the luggage away. It is absolutely gorgeous today. Absolutely gorgeous today. Good morning, ladies. Good morning, Sam. I'm gonna have to find a new place for Sam, I think, because I got home yesterday and he attacked me, and Will said he's been attacking him while he was feeding him, making oodles and oodles of power. I think, like I said, I think I said it. I think I'm taking the whole day off. I don't think I'm doing anything today. Maybe running to town and picking a few things up. The grass is going absolutely crazy. Been gone for a week. It's been raining on and off, so I'm not really worried about. Holy smokes, are you kidding me? I got friggin' potatoes coming up. Look at that. I didn't show this, but when I was done, I put straw across the whole bed just to kind of insulate it a bit, so it retained a little bit more water. But I have a ton of potatoes coming up right now. That is phenomenal. That is very, very exciting. Nice. I'm going to pick up, I think, a couple of bags of topsoil for this bed because I've got the onions going in there. Look at the grass sprouting up in there. That is nuts. That is absolutely nuts. Then I'd like to get this fenced off while I'm off this week. It's Wednesday. I've got Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday off, and then I'm back to work on Sunday. So I'll probably work Sunday through. Peel some more logs too. Probably work Sunday through Thursday and have another 3-day weekend next weekend, which does not break my heart. Oh, I think these guys are all worked up this morning. Sure, they had food last night, so they still have food right now. We need some water. I'll get them set up with some water. But I'm going to put shoes on because, like I said, Sam was a jerk yesterday. He attacked me when I had my head down. I don't respect an animal that attacks somebody when they've got their back turned. That's a weak animal as far as I'm concerned. And I got to do something with these. I've never had rhubarb before, but that one looks like it's going to flower. And they're still sitting in the pots, and it's been raining. The strawberries are doing absolutely fantastic. I think the next couple of days will include a lot of cleanup here too. Look at those strawberries, right? Shooting out all kinds of new sprouts, and even the ones I didn't plant and that they're sitting in that bucket are just going nuts. And then I'll show you the onions. I got to fill the gap on this week too. Watered them when I got home yesterday. I need to trim those down. They're going to get planted. The oregano is doing fantastic. The basil, I don't know. I'm just going to keep watering it. We'll see what happens. More oregano and thyme down here doing great. And the celery is reaching for the window, which is phenomenal. That is super cool. Cabin is still relatively cleaned up. I got a package that wasn't mine that was delivered to my mailbox. I picked that up yesterday. I notified her, so I'm going to drop that off at her house. But yeah. Oh, and the coolest thing of all. One of the coolest things of all. And I was concerned, not so much really concerned about this because I've been watching how it works. But electricity in the cabin, my power never went down. I had full power, full refrigeration the whole time I was gone, which was super, super nice. I like it. So yeah, this I left plugged in and turned on, and it's set so that the lights automatically go on and run for roughly 12 hours a day, which will be ending pretty soon. But that was kept topped off by this entire system. And with all the sun that I'm getting today, I was at like 89% when I got home yesterday. So with everything running right now and all the power going, if you look right here, it's drawing 100. It's 13.6 watts on my battery system right now, or volts, and it's drawing 140, 120, 140 watts. So yeah, powering up rather nicely. I'm very happy with how that's working. I have a company that reached out, and they're going to send me a 100 amp hour battery. These are 300 amp hour batteries, and I got notified that it showed up at my shipping address down in Washington, down in Tacoma. So it should be here within the next week. We're going to add 100 amp hours to this system. We're right now at 600 amp hours, so that'll take us to 700 amp hours, and I'm kind of looking forward to that. We'll see how it works. It's supposed to be a real low expense, a real low cost battery system, so that'd be cool. Try that out, see how it works in the system. Let you guys know for sure. And yeah, other than that, everything was absolutely fine when I got home. Absolutely fine. Put some shoes on, go out and water the chickens. Oh my goodness. Let's have some breakfast. That was a good way to start the day right there. That'll do. That'll do. Oh. It's like 7 o'clock in the morning. Having breakfast outside. I've been trying to beat this thing down for like 2 weeks. Started out like 8 feet long. I just come out here every couple of days when I'm home and add a few pounds to it. This is going to be the ground for the cabin. Oh wow, I got a lot out of that one. Nice. I want to get this down almost to even ground level, and I got just about a foot left to go. And then this bucket of water is actually just filled up from rain that we've had all year long. I've got to clean up underneath the cabin, and I have to re-insulate the floor before winter too. So we'll come back to that later. Got to be an easier way to do that, right? My neighbors are up. They're usually up in the summer, so I'll probably use the other microphone, the clip-on microphone, or the lavalier, when I get over to the garden, because they run their generator 24/7. Some people do. I mean, that's up to them. They're going to pay for all that gas. Decided to pick up a couple of more bags of soil for the top of the garden that I'm going to put the onions in. This is basically 2 cubic feet per bag. I got 4 more. Just to raise the soil level up a little bit more on the onions to give them their best opportunity. This is raised bed and potting mix. It's an organic blend. don't know if I went into detail about the amendments that I'm adding to the soil, but on the potato bed I only use the bone meal because that's for roots, and potatoes are tubers which basically come off the roots. But on this bed I'm going to use blood meal and bone meal. The bone meal or the blood meal could be dressed right on the top, and then you just water it in. You can apply it throughout the plant's life. That is for lush growth and deep greening. It's a high nitrogen additive to the soil. It's organic. This is also organic, but the bone meal needs to be kind of blended in with the soil. So I'm going to layer some bone meal on here first after I pull out some of the grass seeds that I got on here that have already started to come up. Basically they say, you know, a cup of this and a cup of the blood meal per 10 feet. I might be going a little bit heavier, but I don't think it's going to hurt anything. We'll find out. I've never grown onions successfully. So I'll pour this on top, and I'll kind of work the soil a little bit. Then I'll add that all-natural raised bed potting mix. Before I head up to grab them, that'll give you guys a peek here. I've got potato, 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 potato. Got a bunch of potatoes coming up, which is super, super awesome. And this soil is still really moist. I ended up throwing some straw over the top of it to help retain that moisture. And more potatoes right here. And they'll push their way right through this straw without any problem at all. Here's more potatoes coming up over here. These ones in the middle are doing great. I believe those were the Reds and the Yukon Golds in the middle. These were the She Buddies, and those are the German Butterball down at the end. I have a bunch of those coming up as well. So we should see a lot of growth here in the next week. They'll all be up and out. Okay, so these are all trimmed off, like I said, but I'm doing this now so that I remember when I harvest which onions were which. So these are F1 Patterson, these four. These four are Sweet Spanish, and these ones are Jumbo Yellow. So yeah, that's the onions that I have that I'm going to plant, and there's a lot of them. So hopefully you have enough room in the bed for all of them. This will be interesting to see how it works. Like I said, I've had pretty good success with these. As you can tell down here, I'm already starting to get some little bulbs on them. Same thing over here. These, like I said, are the yellow. And then not really any bulbing on the Sweet White Spanish, but the F1 Patterson's starting to get some serious bulbing on those as well. So I have to watch a quick video and make sure I plant these correctly. So I will be back. So I watched a couple of videos showing how to plant these because, like I said, I have no idea what I'm doing. And I watched one video where they did a trench method, and I watched another video where from M.I. Gardener where Luke just used a dibbler to put a hole in it. I'm going to use the same dibbler he did, a stick, because I don't actually have a dibbler. And then I watched another video with a gal, I forget the name of the channel, Grapey's, I think, Grapey's Grub, and she did the same thing with a dibbler. So what I am going to do is I'm going to start like right here, and then I'm going to do every 4 inches. What I've got my board marked at. Mosquitoes are vicious today. Cool. And then we're going to try the first one, the first cup. Now, I have no idea what these look like inside of here. Hopefully I got a bunch of roots. And I do. Nice. And everything that I saw was basically, you know, you could start on the outside and you could pull these onions right off. But Luke from LI Gardener kind of massaged the soil. I like his videos. I learn a lot when I watch his videos. To get the dirt out of here, I watered these last night. I probably didn't need to. I probably should not have. Oh, shoot, there's one right there. And I don't know how many onions I'm going to get total here. Try not to destroy the roots, but from what I saw on the videos, and from Luke, and you know, from that Grapey channel, these things are pretty hardy. And just like that, I got 20 onions planted. Nice. Okay, let's do the next one. I'll come back after I've planted these and show you what we got when I finish everything up. So the first thing I can tell you is I'm not going to need 4 cups of each onion. I already can see that. And the reason for that is I want to get all 3 varieties in this bed. So some of these center ones here, the Spanish whites, I probably won't be doing. The other thing I can tell you is that, you know, I tried this whole dirt removal method, kind of shaking it out and everything else. And I told you I thought I saw something on Simple Living Alaska with Ariel, which is why I brought this down in the first place. I've got these by the tops. The tops are pretty darn strong, but look at that, just in seconds, right? So I'm going to plant this last row over here, and then we're going to call it a day on the yellows. And I'm going to use the biggest, healthiest looking bulbs I have for this row. We'll see what we come up with. Just burying these like right to the top of that bulb, and I'm hoping that by doing so, that bulb will poke right back out. When I got these broken over edges, I'm just ripping them off. One of the things I've read multiple times about onions is when that top bends over, it's telling the onion that that's it. It's time to go. It's time to die off. So I don't want anybody to think that this is an organic bed. It's not. I started these seeds in, actually I started them in Miracle Grow. So there's nothing organic about that stuff. But I'm not one of those people who believes that, you know, Miracle Grow is the devil. So All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's 100 onions planted in here. There's 10 per row. So you go ahead and I'll top dress it with the blood meal, and then I'll give it a good, nice bath. But I ended up with a lot of onions that I didn't use. And I'll know in the future, and I don't know, honestly, how many onions I eat a week. So the goal here eventually is going to be to grow all of my own produce, or as much of my own produce as I possibly can. But I'll need to look up real quick if it's okay to give onions to chickens, because I've never given them those before. And if it is, I'll go ahead and I'll throw them all the scraps of what I got left here. Give them a little green treat. All right. Come on, open up. Get soaked there. I'll water this for, I mean, it takes, this container's what, 2 gallons probably? So it takes 4 gallons to water it right now. I'll probably water it again tomorrow. Might hit it with a little bit more later on this afternoon. We'll see how they're doing. But I'll water it again tomorrow and then see how they establish. I expect to see some starting to wilt down. Got some broken edges I'll just pinch off of here. Get out. But as far as the onions go, we are in stage 2 of the experiment. See if Sean can grow onions. Still, the one plant I know I have never had success growing has been carrots. I'm pretty happy with this. Nice. So before I clean everything up and I forget, these two in the middle are the sweet white Spanish. Then everything this way is the yellow, and everything that way is the Patterson F1. And the one thing I'll say is that the Patterson F1 stalks were very, very hardy when I pulled them out. The yellows, some of them were really hardy, some of them weren't. But the Spanish were pretty good too, the sweet Spanish. So we'll see how it goes. I'll probably let these grow, and then maybe I'll mulch a little bit around the edges, just to kind of hold the water in there so it doesn't dry out. But they're deep beds and they're pretty saturated. So as for those, I just looked it up. Chickens cannot eat onions. Onions are toxic to chickens, so I'm going to go ahead and throw all those away. I'll throw them off in the woods right over here. Maybe we'll get some wild onions. We'll see what happens. But yeah, they can't eat them.